good baseball for us, and Brandon has pitched great at times for us as well. So, I figure that next Tuesday, whenever we play, whoever we play, that either one of them will be a really good option for us. And so they either, if they were to both pitch on Thursday, they would have 4 days rest, before Tuesday. So yeah, I have an eye on the tournament, but I also want to try to win the game tomorrow and Friday and Saturday. So it's always a delicate balance, especially when you're in the position that we're in, because we know we have to win the tournament. But at the same time, I want our team to be playing as well as they can and try to win every game we go out there and play.
I know it's all business, but the fact that you were in that uniform and had some great success about it.
It took until the second question to ask me that.
I got to pick my kids from school.
I've been doing so many interviews in Baton Rouge now about this, but I had kind of anticipated that this was going to happen. When Ray offered me the job and I decided to accept it before any of you all knew about it, I actually called Jay Johnson and told him, that I was going to do it. And his first response was, well, we play each other next year. Well, I didn't even know that. And I kind of cringed when he told it to me, not because of fear of the opponent, or the ability of the opponent, just, when you work at a place for 15 years and it's your life, listen, I've loved everywhere I've been. This is the 5th place that I've worked. St. Thomas University, the Air Force Academy, Notre Dame, and LSU prior to coming to South Carolina. And I think one of the reasons we've been successful at every stop is because I've just immersed myself into the institution in any way that I can besides just being the baseball coach. It becomes a part of your life, and those players become a part of your life. So I've loved everywhere I've been. And just because I change uniforms doesn't mean that I lose my affection for the places that I've been. I've always been very grateful for the opportunities that have been bestowed on me. And I've tried to do a good job everywhere I've been and be very dedicated. And my phone is filled with phone numbers of former players. And I couldn't even begin to tell you how many weddings I've attended and how many babies I've had pictures of, and how many calls. Last night I got a call from a player from Notre Dame, and we talked for a long time, So that's just the way I do business. Is it's a calling for me, coaching. It's a way to serve others and so forth. So I gave everything I had for 15 years at LSU, and you don't just dish that away because you're working at another school. My life was enriched there, just like it was enriched at Notre Dame and Air Force in St. Thomas before that, and then like being enriched now. But make no mistake about it, my love will never change for those schools, but whoever I'm working for, that's where my loyalty is. That's these kids and this staff and this university and this state is where my loyalty is. And it's going to be a little awkward, because I wore purple and gold for 15 years. And then 3 more years as an ambassador for the athletic program. So, and I had gone to school there. So, it's going to be a little awkward. I've never coached against LSU. Several of their players were players that I recruited there. Jared Jones, the first baseman, Steve Milam, the shortstop, Jake Brown, the right fielder, Kate Anderson, the starting pitcher. Those are all kids. Josh Pearson, DJ Primo. So many of the players were kids that I got to know through the recruiting process. Didn't actually coach any of these players, though. The last players that I actually coached were on last year's team. But I got to know these kids, and honestly felt a little, not guilty, but I retired because of the reasons I gave at the time. But I felt bad that I recruited them and then didn't coach them, if you know what I'm saying. But that happened last weekend. Sam Dutton, a pitcher for Auburn, was a kid I recruited at LSU, but didn't actually coach because I retired. So, you still have an affection for those kids, and you still, feel great about that university. But my job is to do everything that I can do to put us in a position to beat them now in the next 3 days. So that's where my total focus is going.